In this video, we're talking about blood flow restriction. It's something I use every day in the clinic. It's also something I'm researching currently. And we do know that blood flow restriction can increase muscle hypertrophy or size, as well as strength. And this is comparable to high load. So the nice thing about this is if you're rehabbing or you're older or you have arthritis, this will be something to take load off joints, but still get that outcome that you're looking for. It has several different mechanisms of action, one being it increases myogenic stem cells. So you have stem cells in your muscles and they're usually quiescent, so they just kind of sit there. If they get activated by high load or the metabolic stress from blood flow restriction, where you wear cuffs on your proximal extremities and do exercise, then they will differentiate. And when your muscles grow, it's a combination of increasing in size as well as increasing in number of cells. And so these stem cells, they provide the DNA. You have to have more DNA to make more messenger RNA and proteins as your muscle size, as the muscle fibers get bigger. So they kind of fuse into the muscle fibers and join them and create this hypertrophy and strength. Another one is capillary density. So when you have this hypoxia or you have this ischemia where you have decreased oxygen to the muscle, the muscle releases something called hypoxia-induced factor 1 alpha, and this activates VEGF, which is vascular endothelial growth factor. The end result of all this is you get increased angiogenesis, which is creating new blood vessels. The more blood vessels you have, the more delivery of oxygen nutrients you have to feed the muscle, and that can contribute to the positive effects. Another one is, this was actually a rat model that they saw. Whenever you tell a muscle to contract, there's a nerve that connects to the muscle, and at that neuromuscular junction, it releases acetylcholine and it binds to nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. As we age, our receptors drop off, but BFR actually increases expression of these receptors, so you get a stronger stimulus to the muscle, a better innervation to the muscle. Another one is cell swelling. When you put these tourniquets on the extremities, it causes swelling in the limb, and some of the fluid actually shifts into the muscle cell. So Jeremy Lineker in his lab at Ole Miss, they looked at this and saw that the hydrostatic pressure and the ionic shift causes a 15% reduction in plasma volume, and that fluid enters the muscle cell, and it can also activate protein synthesis pathways through that mechanism. Another one is, typically when you use a low load, you're just activating type 1 muscle fibers. These are the ones that you use for endurance. They're kind of slow to activate. As we age, we preferentially lose type 2, the explosive muscle fibers that really contribute to muscle size. And so adding BFR cuff, you just get more bang for your buck. You get that increase in type 2 activation, so you can help maintain those or maybe even increase those as you age. There's an endocrine response to blood flow restriction that is exponentially higher than without blood flow restriction, and that is an increase in growth hormone. Growth hormone is going to increase muscle size and strength through activating insulin-like growth factor 1 or IGF-1. Myogenic, I already talked about myostatin. So myostatin is a protein that's made. This is really made, it really increases with immobilization after injury or just with being sedentary, but it decreases your muscle growth and hypertrophy. So if you can inhibit that particular protein, then you can raise that ceiling and move the needle towards an anabolic response. And then mTORC, this is a pathway, and it stands for mechanistic target of rapamycin complex 1. And this is a pathway that when activated either through a high load stress or a hormetic stress like this increased metabolites, that lactate and everything that builds up with BFR, both of those can activate mTOR, and mTOR then causes a downstream pathway where you increase muscle protein synthesis, and that's the key to increasing hypertrophy and strength. So that's what we know from the literature. There's a lot of this is reproducible, and It is safe to say that BFR does increase muscle strength and hypertrophy comparable to that of high load and superior to low load.